Hi, I'm Cindy Bertram. Thanks for joining me today on Good Ship Happens. We have a lot of wonderful things going on in the cruise industry. I know I've talked in the past, in my previous episodes, about the new ships coming out this year. Icon Seas, of course, just got delivered, of course, in Miami. But they're doing some short pre-cruise sailings first, which is great. And then they really don't take the ship out to sea after she's christened until the end of this month, which is great too. Of course, it's the biggest ship ever built, but once again, too, it's got 8 different neighborhoods and developed really beautifully way too. I like to see it. It's big, of course. What was really fun too is Vicky Freed, who's a senior executive vice president of sales, was on board the ship, of course, to tour it first. What she did was, this is so fun. We talked about having pets on ships, but what she did was she brought her dog on board the ship with her. Okay. They weren't sailing, of course, but it was to celebrate her dog's 6-month birthday. So this kid that walks the floor with 4 feet instead of 2 feet was able to celebrate his 6-month birthday on Earth on Icon of Seas. So I thought it was so much fun. I know people have joked about how he's going to be the captain dog at sea, but I don't think he'll be allowed to sail on the ship. But it's kind of funny to kind of share that too, because we've talked about how their pets can be allowed on board the ships. Usually not. I know Cunard Line did that for a while on one of their ships. But I thought that'd be great to share it too with you guys too, because we've got a lot of great ships coming out. Of course, I've talked about those. We've got the Sun Princess. I just wrote about her. She's coming out, of course, I think in April over in Europe first. We've got the Disney Treasure. Yes, we've got the Explorer 2, which is Explorer Journey's second new luxury ship. And of course, the Ritz-Carlton Yacht Collection is going to actually debut their second ship this year. It's the Ilma, and she's 448 guests. She's almost double the size of her sister ship, which is Arima, and a little bit smaller too. She's going to debut actually in September this year with sailings on the North and the Baltic Sea. As far as other cruise ships coming out, and I've mentioned, of course, Sun Princess is one. I know that we've got American Cruise Lines. They are U.S. owned, and they sail in the rivers, but they've got a pair of, after releasing their catamarans in 2023, they've got another pair of ships going to be debuting. They've got the American Liberty, and that's going to debut in August and should be sailing to New England. Also the Foliage, and also they've got their other ship. I think the American Legend is coming out too, I think. But that's kind of fun to think about that, of course. And then, with Royal Caribbean, they've also got another ship coming out too. It's going to be their Oasis class ship. It's going to be Utopia of the Seas. A little bit smaller than Icon of the Seas, but she's going to have different spaces on board ships. They've got a Caribbean tiki bar called Pesky Parrot, which I think is kind of fun, Pesky Parrot. And they've got their Abyss slide will have Zoom booster rollers. They also have a new specialty dining experience. It's going to actually mimic experiencing dining on a train car. And she's going to be sailing on short cruises out of Port Canaveral starting in July 22nd, of course. And of course, the Sun Princess is mentioned. It's actually coming out this year. She's actually the largest ship that Princess Cruises ever built, and she will carry 4,300 guests based on double occupancy. She's got a 3-deck activity zone, 8 new restaurant options. They got this love-themed specialty restaurant, and the Sun Princess is going to be debuting on February 8th, sailing in the Mediterranean, Europe, and then later on she will actually be doing transatlantic cruise, and she's going to be sailing from Port Everglades in the winter of 2024. So that's another one that's fun too. And also with Cunard Line, I mentioned the Queen Anne. It's their first ship that's actually debuted in over a decade, and the Queen Anne is going to be longer than their 2 other ships. She'll offer 14 different passenger desks and also accommodate 2,996 guests based on double occupancy. And they're doing some really, really wonderful things too. She's going to be sailing on her main voyage, I think, on May 1st round trip from Southampton, England. And Silversea Cruises, their Nova class, it's called their Silver Ray. It's going to debut in June. It's identical to Silver Nova, which came out earlier this past year. She was actually, I think, debuted in Miami on, I think, January 4th in Miami. But it's going to accommodate 728 guests too. So that's really, really, I think, kind of fun too, because we've got different things going on as far as ships. And then, of course, I think I mentioned that with the Sun Princess coming out this year, she's got actually two captains. Yes. They're not brothers, but they're two captains, and they're going to serve as masters of the cruise line's second. They're called Sphere class ship, the Star Princess, which is going to be debuting, I think, in 2025. I'm not sure. I got to check on that too first. But it's fun when cruise lines are having two co-captains. Of course, they do take shifts too, but it's really fun too. I want to mention that too, because once again, we've got the two brothers that are captains with the Celebrity Ascent, which just debuted, of course, earlier in the latter part of 2023. And something else that just came up too is I mentioned MSC Cruises. MSC Cruises is got different. They're part of the MSC Group. It's family owned, and with the MSC Group, they actually have had their container ships sailing for years. That was actually the core of the family business. Then they actually launched MSC Cruises. What they did too is then they launched their luxury cruise line, Explorer Journeys, just this past year in 2023. Their luxury, and also they got their MSC Foundation. And what they're doing is, with the foundation, they really care about the environment. And what they did was, I know that I've mentioned before, but with MSC Cruises, they have their own private out island. It's called Ocean Cay MSC Marine Reserve. It's in the Bahamas. And what they did was the family actually leased that island from the Bahamian government for 100 years for $100 million. Then that island was actually a former manufacturing plant, and the company that had it just disbanded it. What the family did was they actually had to invest over $400 million to get that island back in shape. They had to tow away scrap metal, 1,500 tons of scrap metal. The trees were dead. The marine life was dead, but they rebuilt it. It's gorgeous. I was there for a christening of other MSC ships too. What they're doing too is, they're really focusing on the long-term impact as far as the environment, which I think is wonderful. And they're doing some enhancements. What they're doing, I know, is they're really enhancing the guest experience plus the marine conservation arena too. I know that with the Ocean Cay MSC Reserve, they're going to take, I think, about 13 weeks, to add more things to it. So their regular cruise ships won't go there for a bit, but then they will sail back there too, which is great. So I think it's wonderful for people to realize what cruise lines are doing to really work on sustainability and bringing coral life back. As I know I've mentioned this before with the MSC Foundation, they actually built coral trees right there in the ocean, and they're working on their it's called their Super Coral Program, and they're working on that too. As mentioned, to build coral trees right there to really rebuild the marine life, which is great. I think it's wonderful to share these kinds of things too. And something else they're doing too is, I know that what they're doing is this spring, which is coming up, I think, I don't know the actual date. What they're doing though is, I know the private island is going to be closed for about 6 weeks. Coming spring, what they're doing is it's going to be $100 million upgrade too. And they mentioned this back in November of 2023. They will close it, but do different options to really build things up too, build up the coral life. Also, they've got some interactive pavilions they're going to be doing, a lecture hall, coral expedition tanks, and educate passengers about the importance of the marine ecosystem and really the need to protect the world's oceans. As mentioned, this island is actually home to the MSC Foundation's Super Coral Program, which is aiming to build coral reef resistance throughout the region. And they've got coral nurseries at Ocean Cay are really reportedly to thrive with young and healthy endangered species of the reef-building corals. And the MSC Foundation, which is, of course, part of the family that owns everything, they are supporting graduate student programs related to coral resistance. And I thought I'd mention that too, because that's really just one of the things that people need about too, more than ever. Also, some other investments they're doing as part of their MSC Cruises aim to achieve zero greenhouse gas emissions at Ocean Cay is advanced water waste treatments, and a landscaping plan is going to be installed to really install more native and adaptive trees, grasses, and shrubs. And they're also going to be doing some new accommodation buildings to actually increase the staff member numbers from 150 to 280 staff members. Something else they're doing too is they did a pledge to invest in future generations of seafarers, supported by the LGM Maritime Academy and also the University of the Bahamas, to train Bahamians seeking to really enter maybe into the maritime sector. So I think it's really good to mention this too, because right now, as mentioned, with the MSC Cruises, they have ships that sail out of North America, and in this year, 2024, they've got 5 ships that sail there. That's one of the stops, ports of call: the MSC Divina, the MSC Magnifica, and the MSC Meraviglia, the MSC Seascape, and the MSC Seashore, and all are visiting Ocean Cay MSC Marine Reserve. So I want to mention that too. Something else that came up with MSC Cruises is they just made some other announcements. What they're doing is they've been moving into the U.S. area in the cruise market for a big time, and they have been doing that for a while, which is great. And I know what they're doing is they've got. I know that what they're doing is they're going to be they're doing an investment. Okay, about $100 million investment in Miami-Dade, which is going to bring about 250 South Florida-based team members from the MSC Cargo, MSC Cruises, and Explorer Journeys together under one roof into a new state-of-the-art facility. It's going to be located within Block 55 at Sawyer's Walk. And so that's good to know too, because once again, they're really trying to build things too, and also just expanding their presence as far as North America headquarters for the cruise division too. That was just announced this week. And once again, it goes back to they've been building ships and really basing them out of the U.S. different places too. As mentioned, in late spring of 2023, they actually brought over their MSC Meraviglia from Europe to New York, and she started sailing out of New York City, which she's doing now year-round. She's going to different areas, of course. I know during the summertime she'll be going to Bermuda, and also she's doing cruises that go further south. Of course, Ocean Cay MSC Marine Reserve, also different areas too. But they're really building their base of ships sailing out of US too. Another one, of course, is Galveston. Galveston has really become a very, very popular cruise port for cruises to sail out of. I mentioned that with Carnival Cruise Line's newest ship, the Jubilee, she started sailing out of Galveston. It was in, I think, December. But how wonderful to add that as another good port for people to sail out of, because once again, it's a U.S. port. If people are preferring maybe to drive to Galveston rather than fly, it's easy to do. So we've got different choices as far as where cruise ships dock and sail out of. Galveston is growing like crazy, which is great. We've got, of course, Port Miami. We've got Port Everglades, which is in Fort Lauderdale. Another is Port Canaveral, which is about an hour, not quite an hour and a half from Orlando. Tampa is another one, also with New York. And of course, when it comes to the Alaskan cruises, those will be usually out of Seattle or Vancouver. And then you have some ships that sail out of California too. But it's good to kind of know what they're doing too, because once again, with MSC Group, they're really expanding their presence with their new North American headquarters for their cruise division. So I want to mention that too, because once again, it really helps create jobs too, but also gives more presence as far as what they do in the United States. And even though they are actually headquartered and family owned in Geneva, Switzerland, they're a wonderful family. I actually met one of the members, Pier Francesco Vago. So it's good to know what they're doing too in different ways. So as mentioned, their sustainability efforts are really wonderful, and just leading the way as far as I think responsible tourism and getting to the net, with the emissions too. It's why a lot of cruise lines are now switching over to having their ships operated by liquefied natural gas, LNG. And once again, with the MSC Foundation's their Super Coral program, as mentioned, what they did was on May 11th of last year, they announced that they actually reached a significant milestone. They actually succeeded in the installation of their first coral trees in the Ocean Cay MSC Marine Reserve right there. And it's their Super Coral programming, which is a pioneering coral restoration program too. And they partner with global scientific advisors and also research teams too, with the Nova Southeastern University and also University of Miami too. So once again, it just goes back to things that they're really, really doing too. Because people don't think about coral trees, but the point is, with the coral reefs, they are home to over 25% of the marine species, and they provide food with creating economic resources for billions of people, but they also protect the coasts from erosion and storms. And sadly, unfortunately, as far as the Earth's 800 reef building coral species, they're really going away. And I think it's really wonderful as far as focusing on the coral restoration. And this is what MSC Cruises and the MSC Foundation is doing right now. In 2023, their goal is to actually expand their nursery to 13 trees, which was going to be producing over 1,000 coral fragments per year. I'll keep you posting that too, but I thought that's just something wonderful that people don't realize. A great example of, yes, good ship happens. Yes. Something else that came up too I want to mention was, we talk about a lot of as far as the ocean cruise lines too, but another segment that I think is wonderful is actually with the river cruises. And they do wonderful things too with the river cruise industry. And what they're doing is, we've got, with the new year that has just begun, it comes with a lot of good things that are being done in the travel world too, but also besides a lot of new ocean cruise line ships coming on this year, we also have some fresh and returning riverboats from inland waterways ready to set sail this year too. From Bahama Waterways, they're actually doing their highly anticipated debut on the Columbia Magdalena River, to a third vessel from Viva Cruises. And here's what to consider as far as people that maybe want to do maybe a river cruise. And with river cruises, of course, you can sail on river cruises yourself from the U.S., but also different places too. And I think it would be phenomenal, honestly, personally, to sail on maybe on waterways on the Columbia's Magdalena River, which I think is great. And I'll be sharing about that too, but it just sounds phenomenal to do that too. And something else came up with is Amadeus. Amadeus River Cruises, they're going to actually introduce their Amadeus Nova in this year. It's their fourth four-deck vessel. It's going to welcome guests in 12 different suites with balconies, plus 67 exterior cabins. Most have drop-down panoramic windows too. And they've got their interior lounge. They've got their bar, their restaurant, reception area, and shop. And guests can also enjoy the Amadeus Club and the Cafe Verena, Veneva, and also a fitness center, massage rooms below deck, a heated pool, yes, on sun deck. And they're also going to be outdoor putting green, chessboard, and also shuffleboard at the stern. And of course, they've got their wind-protected river terrace, of course, at the bow. And with the Amadeus Nova coming out this year, She's going to be environmentally friendly, and they're actually utilizing hybrid diesel engine propulsion, supplemented by battery and solar power too. I've mentioned AMA Waterways. AMA, of course, means love, yes, but AMA Waterways was co-founded by Rudy Schreiner, AMA Water, and also Christine Karntz. Jimmy Murphy actually had another company too. What they do is they've got some new riverboats scheduled for 2024. One, of course, in the Columbia area, and one in Egypt. The AMA Magdalena is going to actually navigate the Columbia's Magdalena River beginning in November, and also the AMA Lilia will join the Brands fleet on the Nile River in March. So that's coming up pretty soon too. And with the AMA Magdalena, she's going to accommodate just 60 guests on either 237 square feet twin balcony staterooms. Also, they've got 306 square foot luxury suites. They've got grand suites, which are actually 516 square feet. And what they're doing is they've got, for the ships, they've got a reception area, a lounge, gym, restaurant, hair and nail salon, massage, and outdoor pool. But once again, keep in mind too, because with AMA Waterways, they're just a wonderful company, and they really, really do great things too. Of course, they do sail in the rivers, of course, in Europe, which is great too. But to think about doing something on the Egypt, which I think is great, the Nile River, and also with Colombia, it's fantastic. So definitely think about that too, because once again, they've also got a second ship from AMA Waterways on the Magdalena called the AMA Melodia. I believe that pronounced it correctly. It's going to be actually scheduled for June of 2025. And the AMA Lily, I think I pronounced it correctly, is a little wider. She's going to carry a few more passengers than the existing AMA Dahlia. And she's going to start navigating the Nile River too. They've got 41 staterooms that will include 16 suites. And also the riverboat's going to sail on the line's 11-night Secrets of Egypt and the Nile itinerary. And I think that'd be a great way to really, really experience Europe too, because it looks fantastic too. Another great river cruise line is Avalon Waterways. They're actually owned by the Globus Group, but what they're doing is they've got a new ship that's going to be introduced in March. It's called the Avalon Alegria, and she's going to sail on the Douro River in Portugal. And this will accommodate 102 guests, and she'll be one of their signature suite ships. It's going to be outfitted with 37 panoramic suites that feature alfresco balconies, plus 14 deluxe suites. And she'll also have an outdoor swimming pool, also an aft club lounge. And also Avalon says that they plan to really do the Douro differently by offering a very different classic, discovery, and archive Avalon choices for tours too. Another one that is not really maybe well known in North America is actually the Century River Cruises, okay? But what they do is they're planning a new ship called the Century Voyager, which is going to be launched in July. It's going to be focused for international clientele too. And with the Century Voyager, it's handling 650 guests. They will take travelers along the Yangtze River. Also, in addition to onboard amenities, they've got the Three Gorges Museum, which is going to be outfitting the ship with items from its collection. And also, it's going to be very much environmentally conscious, thanks to its electric propulsion, lower emissions, and also reduced noise too. And another one that I've talked about before, written about before, is Riverside Luxury Cruises. Riverside Luxury Cruises actually took over what was previously Crystal Cruises River Cruise fleet of 5 vessels. They took them over. What they did was Riverside Luxury Cruises actually launched 2 of their ships this past year, but also what they're doing is, I know that they've got another ship coming out too, and they've got different things. They actually sail along the Red River, also the Moselle, and also they've got this Belgian Holidays market itinerary too. and they're not well known yet, but they're beautiful ships. I had a chance to meet their president, which is great, but also written about them too. And that's just another option to think about as far as maybe river cruising too, because there are so many options out there. What they're doing is Riverside's going to actually relaunch their Riverside. It's called relaunching the Riverside Debussy, which was the former Crystal Debussy, in March this year. And it's going to follow, of course, their lines already launched Riverside Mozart and also the Riverside Roselle. And this is all inclusive, all suite. Debussy will first embark on a 6-day route between Brussels and Amsterdam. And then later on, I know that they've got the last of their post Crystal riverboats, the Transcend Advance, which was once called the Crystal Mallier, is already sailing under a temporary charter. Okay. And it's a way to kind of introduce the ship too. Another cruise line is called Riviera River Cruises. And what they do is they've got their ship arriving in July, the Porto Mirante. It's actually a 118 guest vessel from Riviera River Cruises. And it's a fantastic company. I've written about it before too. And with this one, they'll be offering different areas where they're sailing. But I know that with their ship, the Porto Mirante, it's going to feature a skylight, 2-level atrium, an upper bar, a lounge, a lower restaurant, a fitness center, also sun deck, sky deck lounge, a zero edge splash pool, and accommodations will include 59 different cabins. And also, they'll have either a window or a French balcony. And passengers can expect to have double beds. That could be also convertible into twin beds if needed. Also, the bathroom, a rain shower, and also desk and chair, flat screen, television, air conditioning, and more too. Another cruise line's been around for quite a while. Launching this year, Viking is going to launch their Viking. I think it's pronounced Hather. And this ship is part of their company's plan to really add one more ship to Egypt this year, from 2023 to 2025. And with their Viking Hather, it's accommodating 82 different guests. She will sail on the Nile River for a 12-day Pharaohs and Pyramids itinerary. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it be? Pharaohs and Pyramids. And that's going to include a week on board the ship plus bookend dates touring in Cairo. And for people that are already familiar with Viking's Egyptian fleet, they know that the Hadro is actually identical ship to the Viking Aton and also Viking Osiris. Okay, and they have another ship coming out too called the Viking Sobek. So we have a lot of things going on as far as even like the river cruise industry, and I thought that'd be good to share too, because we think about cruising, we think about big ships, you think about sailing on the ocean, the Caribbean, Alaska, but once again, a great way to really experience, I think, cruising would be to actually enjoy the river cruise lines too. And in my case, I've not had a chance to do a European river cruise, but once again, I think it'd be a great way to really see Europe, because once again, not that I'm against taking maybe a tour over to Europe. I had a friend who did that finally, but the thing is with that, you fly in, you stay at a hotel, you have to go to different hotels, which are part of the tours, and you kind of hop around staying at different hotels. But with the river cruise lines, what they do is the ship is actually your hotel. They have, of course, restaurants on board, entertainment on board, pools on board, different things to do on board too. And they stop at different places, different cities, ports. You can get off, get back on. But once again, you don't have to worry about getting to the next hotel because they're taking you to these beautiful places. And there's no other way I would love to see it than actually taking a European river cruise to myself. A great way to see Europe, but a very relaxing way too. So I think it's good to really kind of mention that too more than ever, because there's so many things you can do and people don't realize it today more than ever as far as how the river cruise industry is growing like crazy. It was kind of funny too, because I've written about them before, plan to write about them. I'd love to write about the things we're doing in South America. But with the two main co-founders, Jimmy Murphy was one, he passed away, his son came in, but also with Christine Karntz, who's a co-founder, co-owner, too, with Rudy Schreiner. Rudy's actually known as the architect of the River Cruise Line industry, too. He actually worked for different people that actually helped him launch River Cruise Lines. They came up with the idea. I know Christine Karntz mentioned it was a little bit of a risk, but they're very successful. First, I think they were actually maybe chartering ships and they started building their own ships, but what better way than to have someone who's actually an architect actually design and finally find ways to build their own ships. And that's what Rudy's been doing besides being the president and co-founder. But it's kind of fun what they're doing too, is they're adding more ships too. Once again, what I really like about AMA Waterways, AMA means love, yes, but it's good because once again, they just had a big meeting for their staff members, but from different countries too. They came together, but once again, it goes back to, I really feel that with AMA Waterways, they really treat their staff as family members more than ever. And that's very important because you want to have a good work environment too on the ship as well as in their headquarters, which are in California. And once again, they kind of took a risk a long time ago, over 20 some years ago, to come up with the idea to actually start AMA Waterways. And at first, as mentioned, they did charter some ships. And of course, Rudy started designing the ships that they had built themselves too. So once again, it's another great way to really think about maybe a future cruise. But once again, I think it was a great place to visit. There are places that are safe, of course, and a great way to see that, I think, would really be to consider taking a river cruise in Europe and other places too. Mark, did you have any questions for me yet or not? Because river cruising is really taking off like crazy too, which is great.
Not so much a statement, but I did have something to share with you from, I think it was last year and everything. But MSC had actually traveled to the Ivory Coast to deal with with some of the amazing work that the MSC Foundation does, and they were doing that at the Ivory Coast. And like you saw,
Yes.
they were helping a school be built, doing some of the ocean cleanup, and teaming up with the UNICEF. So they were doing some amazing work, and that was, I think, from the spring of last year. So it was actually from
Right.
2023 that they did that initiative, and all along those lines, it looks like the folks that had come there from the MSC Foundation were
Yes.
glad to be able to do that work, and also looked like they were having fun doing the work as well. So that's one of the things that I found while you were sharing about some of the things that found folks were doing from MSC and from the cruise industry that I thought was a great little clip. So I dug up that clip and thought I'd share that with you and everything, because I thought that was some powerful work that they were doing, and it was very good to see that work being done.
Right. It's amazing what they're doing. I mean, like I said, when MSC Cruises decided to work with the Bahamian government about the island,
Mm-hmm.
and they leased the island for 100 years for $100 million.
Right.
And then they actually put in over $400 million themselves
Right.
to get that island back up into shape. It was beautiful. I
Yeah.
loved. I was there for the christening of one of their ships too. And when I was there too, before the christening ship, we actually got there early morning, and the ship docks right there. You walk right up. It's great, beautiful.
Yeah, it
And
looks like they do it all over the nation and all over the world. Because, like I said, you were talking about the Bahamas. That was actually in the Ivory Coast, which is off the coast of Africa and everything.
right,
It looks like they're doing it in various parts of the world. This kind of initiative work.
they really are. But to see what they did, and like I said, they had to tow away 1,500 tons of scrap metal. Yes.
Yeah, wow,
And
that's a
also
lot of
they did
scrap metal.
was the like so the marine life was dead. They had to plant trees
Mhm.
and clean things up like crazy. And then when I was there during the day, of course, we were on the ship, of course, all day, all night. And they crossed the ship in the evening on board the ship. But during the day, what they did was they actually did, which I thought was great, was they actually did a sand cutting there for a lab. They're going to be building there too. A sand cutting.
Yep, a sand cutting. And you
Yeah.
just saw that notice where they had
Yes.
turned the plastic into bricks in order to build
Yes.
other things. So, yeah, they're doing some amazing, innovative recycling things and all along those lines. But yeah, that's just something
Yes.
that I thought I'd share that I had found. I might find one from Alma
Yes.
Waterways as well. And I know
Yes.
you've got other
Yes.
things to share also. So I'll pop up and see if I find any other videos. But I did find that one, and I thought I'd share that one with you.
That is great. Perfect timing, too, because what they're doing is just so great what they're doing. And people need to know what the cruise industry is doing more than ever, you know. And also, as far as even like so with MSC Cruises, and of course, their foundation, they're building those coral reefs there, too, which is great. People don't realize what things are doing, even as far as the cruise industry themselves. With the Cruise Lines International Association, it's a backbone of the cruise industry. The cruise lines all belong to it. What they do is they actually have a goal to be net zero by 2050. But cruise lines right now are building new ships, and they're actually being operated by liquefied natural gas, LNG. That's another way to kind of really, really help our environment more than ever. So it's good to share these kinds of things that they're doing too, because once again, of course, going on a cruise is fantastic, but it's good to see what the industry is doing as a whole together, working together, and we need it more than ever. I mentioned, of course, with Riverside Luxury Cruises, and what they did was they're launching their third ship, the Riverside WC, and she's going to offer more than 40 departures this year in 2024. And then, of course, her inaugural voyage is going to sail from Brussels to Amsterdam on March 23rd. It's a 6-day itinerary where guests can actually go to Ghent. They've got different places, Willemstad, then going on to Rotterdam. And also with the Riverside Debussy and also the Riverside Mozart and the Riverside Ravel, they dock daily in new towns and cities. So guests can actually just walk off and immediately experience the beauty and the culture of the inland locales that the larger cruise ships sometimes cannot reach. So it's really good to know about that too, because once again, I know they were offering a special holiday offer, but once again, too, is as mentioned, the Riverside Debussy is going to actually start sailing. First sailing is going to start on March 23rd, but you'll continue on. And they've got different things they're doing too. I know they've got some other longer 7-night longer itineraries in 2024. And just keep that in mind too, because they're doing some wonderful things. They really are. and we need that more than ever. Something else came up too, as I mentioned too, with the Explorer Journeys. Explorer Journeys is owned by the MSC Group, which owns, of course, the foundation with MSC Cruises and also their Mediterranean shipping company, which is great. But what they're doing is, I know that they've got their first ship. I wrote about it, the Explorer Journeys, Journey 1, actually set sail in late summer of this last year over in Europe. And what she's doing now is they just unveiled some sailings they're going to be having now through 2025. The Explorer 1 ship also some new sailings. And with the Explorer 1, her schedule from October of this year, 2024, to April 2025 is going to be, it's just been revised. So the ship's going to sail in the Caribbean. And it's slated to do some cruises up the Amazon River, also into the Brazilian rainforest. Of course, they're smaller ships, very luxury, all-inclusive. But also, I know with the Explorer 1, she accommodates only 922 guests. Also, what they're doing, too, is they're adding more cruises to 6 of 8 nights based on the customer feedback, too, which is great. So what they're doing is they decided to really refine their planning and decided to design some new journeys, which draws on their own experiences. And I think it's really good for that to do that too. And then, of course, I know that from April to November of 2025, the Explorer will be sailing in the Mediterranean, the islands in the Aegean Sea. And then in winter of 2025 through 2026, the Explorer 1 is going to sail in the Red Seas, also the Arabian Peninsula. And also, another ship coming out with Explorer Journeys is Explorer 2. She's actually scheduled to embark on her maiden cruise voyage from Barcelona on August 12th of 2024. And she's going to sail in the Western Mediterranean until November of 2024, this year. Then she's going to cross the Atlantic and sail on Caribbean cruises during the winter months, which I think is fantastic because I would love to see the Explorer 2. She looks phenomenal. I read about the Explorer 1. And they're doing some wonderful things too. And then, of course, I know that with May of 2025, Explorer 2 is going to spend the summer in the Mediterranean. And she'll offer cruises leaving from Barcelona or Civitavecchia, Rome. And going back to her winter season, 2025 to 2026, she's going to spend that in Eastern Europe, featuring Guadalupe. They've got Roseau, Dominica, Little Bay, and Montserrat, also Marigot, St. Martin. But it's good to kind of see what Explorer Journeys is doing too, because they are just a phenomenal cruise line. It's part of the MSC Group, family owned, very luxury, all-inclusive, and they go by bring ocean life to sea too. So I think we need to really think about that too more than ever, because once again, with the conservation efforts that cruise lines are doing, it's good to know about that too. We need that more than ever, and what they're doing in different ways too. It's just kind of fun. Going back to some other things coming up too, as I mentioned a little bit about the 2 captains. This is going to be for a future ship run by Princess Cruises. As mentioned, Sun Princess is coming out later on this spring, I think over in Europe first, then she'll be coming to the U.S. later on in the fall, I think. But they've got another ship coming out. It's going to be called the Star Princess. And the Star Princess, of course, announced in December of this past year, December 15th, they announced 2 captains will be serving as masters of their second. It's called their Sphere-class cruise ship, Star Princess. And they are going to be the co-captains, right? And what's good too is with the Princess, the Sun Princess and the Star Princess, they're actually their newest ships. The Sun Princess comes out this spring over in Europe first, and then of course the Star Princess comes out later on. She's going to debut in actually 2025, and that's really great because we've got the 2 co-captains, which is great too. As far as their captains, I know that Captain Nick Nash is actually a 33-year veteran of Princess Cruises, and he's promoted to the rank of Commodore of Alliance Global Fleet back in 2020. And he currently serves as captain of the Enchanted Princess, yes. And also, I know that He's navigated the ship out of the Fincantieri shipyard. And Commodore Nash actually joined the company back in 1989 and was promoted to staff captain in 1997. And then in 2002, he became captain, and then also has been at the helm of many of the Princess Cruises ships too. And Commander Nash has also served as president of the Nautical Institute, and after 2 years now serves on their council. And also, he's actually a chartered master mariner and the Royal Institute of Navigation, the Royal Geographical Society, and also a younger brother of the Trinity House. And then Captain Gennaro Anna has always been very, very passionate about the sea. He began his career with Princess Cruises back in 1998 as a cadet, and then he moved up into the ranks, achieving his first command as captain of Sea Princess in 2015. And he actually then re-navigated the ship into different world cruises. He took the helm of the Diamond Princess in 2018, and then in 2020 he was honored as being recognized as the commander of the Order of the Merit of the Italian Republic, which is actually the highest of the orders of the Italian Republic. And he was selected among, which is great too. And
yeah, that's amazing.
Yes, amazing. But he actually served most recently as captain of the Discovery Princess. He was born in Sorrento, Italy, where he lives with his wife and his son, Diego. And the Star Princess will actually debut in August of 2025.
Oh, wow. Speaking of amazing, I know you were a big fan of the river cruises, and I saw that AMA Waterways had a couple of trips that you might be wanting to take and everything. So I thought we check some words from them. From one of them is them actually going to Amsterdam, and I think it's one of their leaders talking about the trip to Amsterdam as well as the trip to Paris. So would you like to check out these short 2-minute videos and everything about what they do on these trips? So let's check this out.
Did you know that many of AMA Waterways Rhine river cruises include a canal cruise or a tasting tour here in Amsterdam? But there's so much more that you can see and experience with us in and around this fascinating city. During your Amsterdam land stay with AMA Waterways, your knowledgeable local guide will take you on a walking tour alongside the city's iconic canals. You'll see the locals speeding by on their bicycles, the most popular form of transportation in the Netherlands. You'll also get to see the modern-day museum that was once the home and studio of the famous Dutch painter Rembrandt. The next day, before transferring to your ship, we will travel back in time to picturesque Zaanstad, a special neighbourhood where you can find traditional windmills, barns and workshops representing life in the Netherlands during the 17th and 18th centuries. With overnight stays at a leading hotel, daily breakfast, tours and transfers all included in the price, our Amsterdam pre-cruise land stays offer such exceptional value. And a friendly AMA Waterways cruise manager, like myself, will accompany you throughout your journey. So what are you waiting for? Contact your travel advisor and book your Rhine cruise and Amsterdam stay today.
Beautiful.
That was Amsterdam. Now let's see what it's like if we decide to go to Paris. So this is
Okay.
the Paris trip.
Yes.
Let's check this out.
If you're already flying into Paris on one of AMA Waterways' spectacular river cruises through France, why not stay a while and explore this romantic city by adding an optional pre-cruise land package? Check into a stunning hotel in the heart of Paris where you will meet your cruise manager, enjoy a welcome reception and get to know your fellow travelers. The next morning, a knowledgeable local guide will take you through the city, where you will see some lesser-known Parisian treasures, from religious sites to famous hotels to gardens and more. The best part of our Paris land package is that you'll have a cruise manager like me taking care of you to answer your questions and perhaps make a restaurant recommendation or two while we're at it. You will also be treated to Paris's world-renowned Workshop of Lights, the incredible Atelier des Lumières, an immersive digital art experience you won't soon forget. Later in the day, you are free to explore the city at your leisure, perhaps visiting the Louvre, strolling the colourful Rue Crémieux, indulging yourself in some Parisian fashion, or popping into a cafe for a café au lait and flaky croissant. On another included excursion, we will venture to Montmartre, an artist's haven since the 19th century and home to the beautiful Basilica of the Sacré-Cœur. See where artists from Monet to Renoir, Picasso, Pissarro, and Van Gogh once lived and worked, and where jazz musicians and entertainers such as Josephine Baker made their mark. Extend your amazing Amel Waterways Seine River Cruise journey and reserve our pre-cruise land package in Paris today. À bientôt!
Perfect timing, because what happened was AMA Waterways, oh, they just announced this week they are kicking off the new year with complimentary land offers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
and amazing. And what I was thinking about was that, while I know you are a big advocate of the cruise industry, and like I've said on this show several times, I've only been on one, but hope to go
Right.
on more in my lifetime and everything. The one thing that I know that people sometimes get frustrated by with cruises, and particularly the bigger cruises, is that you don't always get to enjoy the cities that you are going to because there's a limited amount of time and everything.
Right.
Whereas some of these smaller cruises give you a chance, like AMA Waterways and some of the other ones, to actually spend time in the city. So you get it's like having the best of both worlds. You get to be on the boat, get to enjoy the ocean, but also get to have that land visit as well. And I'm not saying that other cruise lines don't do it, but that's one of the things that people sometimes complain about, is that they
Right.
wish they had more time in whatever the port that they are stopping at, whereas AMA Waterways is
Exactly.
making that part of the destination.
That's what's a good thing about taking smaller ships too. Like I said, the good thing is, I mentioned with the Sun Princess, I just wrote an article about it. It got published this week. I got a thank you from the president of Princess Cruises, which is great.
Mhm.
Some of the other people I know that work there, but the point is, it's their biggest ship. But the point is, it doesn't even accommodate 5,000 guests. It's like there's 4,300 guests, which is great. It's not really too big. But the good thing is, even with smaller ships too, even with Explorer Journeys, they're smaller ships, and they can go into different smaller ports too, which is great, because I think it's good to really, really enjoy when you're actually off board the ship. Good ways to really see different things. Had a chance a long time ago. I did a cruise and Sunslumber Cruises, but we actually went to Dominica, which is gorgeous, absolutely amazing. But we went to smaller ports like that, which we were able to do. The ship wasn't too big, but once again, that's something to think about too, in case you do want to see more about the actual locations, the ports
Right.
themselves, and places also that big ships can't get to.
Yep, exactly. That's what I was thinking and everything. Even the ones that are here and everything, because I do know there are some of the river cruises that you get to enjoy, say like New Orleans or
Right.
some of the places in South Carolina that you get to enjoy some of those tourism stops while also enjoying the rivers that are here in America as well.
Right, because once again, even going back to the announcement that Amawares did this week on the 15th, but they mentioned they're kicking off New Year with a complimentary land offer. And what they're doing is it's a limited time offer, but the complimentary pre or post cruise land packages on select your river cruises. in 2024 and 2025. And you can make your reservations right now through March 31st this year. And the complimentary land package provides guests with a variety of complimentary 2, 3, and 4-night land packages as an extension of their vacation. I think that's really great too, because once again, if you fly over to Europe to maybe take a river cruise, usually they fly over the day before. Once again, it's exhausting. Okay, in this case, you do a pre or post cruise and just relax either before the cruise or after the cruise on a 2, 3, or 4-night land package, which is great and complimentary right now too.
It's very amazing. I'll let you get ready to do the closeout. We'll probably close out with the captains, which I know they've already been doing their travel, but everything. But we'll probably go with the brothers to close out whenever you're ready. But I'll let you make that call, and you'll tell me when you're ready for the brothers to.
Let me go through more about what AMA Waterways is doing too. This came up this week, and I think it's so exciting. I mean, it really gives you a chance to relax even more, either before or after your cruise. It's pre or post cruise, and it's 2, 3, or 4-night complimentary land package. It's a way to really enhance your experience with some extra time to really recover from jetting off or maybe exploring a new city, which is great too. And they just announced it this week. And what they're doing too is I know that in addition, on the Waterways, the land package includes daily breakfast at the hotel, also enriching city tours and excursions, convenient transfers, and also luggage service between the guest hotel and the River Cruise Line ship, as well as services of their AMA Waterways cruise managers for the river cruise and also their journey. And they got 20 different pre- and post-cruise complimentary land packages that are offered on these select sailings this year, 2024, and also next year, 2025. A couple of these fascinating destinations, I'll list a couple just announced this week. The French Riviera, which would be Monaco and Nice. And travelers can really step into the paintings of Paul Cézanne, also before touring Nice, and the scenic capital of the French Riviera on the Mediterranean Sea. And this 3-night post-cruise package in Nice and Monaco, which would be valued up to about $1,456 per person, is offered on select 7-night Eastern, the Essence of Burgundy and Provence river cruises. And they've got their Lake Como, Italy. And guests can really see these impressive villas that are lakeside. And also they've got 3-night pre- and post-cruise land packages in Lake Como, which is valued at $1,650 per person on select Rhine castles and Swiss Alps river cruises. Something else I mentioned too was Spain. Okay, guests can travel to, I think it's pronounced Guernica. It's the subject of one of Picasso's most renowned paintings, as well as Bilbao, and travelers can walk through the evenings too. Another one is with Prague, the Czech Republic, and Prague is considered to be the city of 100 spheres. It's historic center of UNESCO World Heritage Site, and guests can really enjoy leisure time to discover such sites as Prague's medieval astronomical deck and also romantic Charles Bridge, and these 3-night pre- and post-cruise packages in Prague, which value up to $975 per person, are on select Danube River cruises, such as their 7-night Melodies of the Danube Itinerary 2. And once again, it's just great to kind of mention these kinds of things because this just came up. It's a great way to really spend more time, even after you disembark from the ship or before you get on the ship, to really enjoy maybe some areas first, of course. And of course, these are complimentary, which is great. So definitely keep that in mind because I think it's a great way to really, really enjoy areas of Europe and river cruising too. So I think that's it that I want to share today. And then Mark will actually end with the 2 co-captains, which is great. On Celebrity Scent, which actually did debut on December 1st of this past year, 2023. I was on board their pre-christening cruise. It's beautiful to see the ship. They've done amazing things as far as the entertainment, cuisine, just beautiful. But once again, just another great example of Celebrity Cruises and what they offer. But I love the fact they have the two captains that are brothers on board the ship.
I am thrilled to be here today to announce the captain of Celebrity Ascent, the Amazing Edge series. They bring their own spirit and energy to the ship and our crew. And so I would like to eliminate all the suspense and announce that the captain of Celebrity Ascent is Captain Kafagis. Oh, did I forget to say there are two of them? For the first time ever, Celebrity Cruises has two captains. So gentlemen, I happen to know you both really, really well. We've worked together for 15 or 16 years. And a lot of our guests have sailed with you, and some of them know a little bit about you, but they nor I know a lot about you. So let's roll video and learn about your amazing lives.
My name is Dimitrios Kafagis. I am from Port of Athens, Piraeus, in Greece. I graduated the Captain's Academy of Syros, and I am a captain with Celebrity Cruises for the last 19 years. 33 years altogether at sea with Celebrity Cruises. My personal milestone and best moment was when I became a captain at the age of 36, being by then the youngest and by far the funniest captain on the fleet, only to live enough to have my brother breaking this record at the age of 34. Bless you, Tassos. I will never forget you for this. My relationship with my brother can be described as father-son relationship and not brothers, since we have 11 years difference with Tassos. I know my pretty face fool you, but there are 11 years difference. When I first heard that I was going to be the captain of the Ascent, and together with my brother, two brothers, to start a ship for the company we love.
My name is Tassos Kafagis, and I'm a captain on board Celebrity Cruises. The reason I came to the maritime industry is because of my brother. He's my role model. I was so influenced by him, so I applied for Celebrity Cruises that my brother was working already. And I joined Celebrity Century back in 1998, when it was brand new. And I moved on, and 25 years later, here I am as a captain. Since we became a captain, we didn't have the opportunity to work together, and we're always saying how fun it would be if we could do a contract together, even as captains. Now, to do that together with an opening of the newest vessel of Celebrity Cruises, it's like a dream come true.
When he first became a captain, I gave him a Mont Blanc pen and a Warren bead with a cross and an evil eye, and I said to him, have it in your pocket, and when you think that you are helpless, just put your hand in your pocket, rub it, and you're gonna be there.
You mean this one? That's you?
Yep.
Him.
I will say that I might be the prototype, but he is the newer, better version. Captain 2.0, if I may say.
He changed the way captains interact with their guests and the crew. He opened up a big window for all the captains to follow.
Not only congratulations, but thank you. It's such a pleasure and an honor to work with both of you every day, and I can't wait to be on the stage with you on Celebrity Ascent.
Yes.
I bet, knowing the two of you, you are going to have a lot of fun with the guests.
When we both would be dressed up as captains on the ship, I will go talk to them first, and then I claim that I had to go, leave, and Tassos come back, and carry on what I started, and see if they're going to pick it up. And I guarantee
Are they going to get a prize or something if they do pick it up?
They're going to get a dinner with the captain.
Oh, how fun! There you
With
go.
this captain.
With that captain.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard. This is your captain, Captain Kafagis of the Celebrity Ascent.
No. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard. This is your captain, Captain Kafagis of the Celebrity Ascent.
No, this is your captain, Captain Kafagis of the Celebrity Ascent.
No. This is the captain, Captain Kafagis energies of the celebrities.
Τι κάνεις εδώ πέρα, ήρθες στο καράβι να μου κάνεις το